This story is about a boy named Jeon. He was present in the principal's office at his school, and his elder sister, Jeon, had also come with him. Actually, Jeon was a high school student, but he was always involved in fights with Hamza and other students. This habit of his had made him a troublemaker for the school. His behavior towards the teachers was also very disrespectful. Because of this, the principal called his sister, Jeon, to the school since she was his guardian. Jeon requested the principal to give Jeon one last chance so he could improve himself. However, the principal was fed up with Jeon's rude attitude and continuous fights, so she refused to give him another chance. In the end, the principal expelled Jeon from the school. Jeon felt hopeless. After searching for a long time, he found a school where there were no strict rules. Most of the students in this school were also troublemakers just like Jeon. He liked the school a lot and decided to get admission there. The next day when he reached the school, as soon as he stepped inside, a ball hit him on the head. Actually, some bully-like students had intentionally thrown the ball at him so that a fight would start. But Jeon was not someone who would get scared. He immediately got ready to fight back. However, the surprising thing was that one of the boys came to him, bowed down, apologized and walked away. Seeing this, Jeon was shocked because he had thought that a fight was about to happen. But instead they all apologized and left. After that, he went to one of the teachers in the school. The teachers here were completely different from the teachers in normal schools. Jeon liked one thing about this school: there were no strict conditions for getting admission. If a student wanted to study in this school, they just needed to be skilled in fighting. And Jeon was an expert in fighting. That's why he got admission immediately. Now he started looking for his class. But he did not know where it was. So he asked a boy named Young-suk. Young-suk looked weak and thin. Because of this, Jeon assumed that he was a fragile person. But in reality he was one of the strongest students in the school. Then, Jeon finally reached his class and was ready to challenge the most powerful student in the school. However, at that moment, a student named Young-suk informed him that students were not allowed to fight each other in this school. That was the reason why the boys who had thrown the ball at him earlier apologized and walked away instead of starting a fight. Jeon did not take these rules too seriously. As soon as lunchtime arrived, all the students left the classroom. Frantic took Jeon to the basement of the school building. When he reached there, he saw that all the students were fighting each other. Friends, if you are watching this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Young-suk explained to him that students were only allowed to fight in this particular area. Here, even teachers and students placed bets on the fights. Frantic further revealed that whoever won the biggest fight in this place would become the leader of the school and would have the power to create new school rules. Hearing this, Jeon became very excited and decided to participate in the fights. Young-suk told Jeon that the most powerful student in the school was Daeho. He had defeated all the best fighters in the school so far, which is why people called him Tiger. He was the current leader of the school. If Jeon wanted to fight him, he first had to defeat the 3 best students in the school. These 3 students were almost as strong as Daeho. Frantic gave Jeon more details. The first student was Gita, who was an expert in wrestling and also very skilled in judo martial arts. The second was Sun Kong, who was considered a crazy fighter because he always beat his opponents mercilessly. The third was Young-suk, whom Jeon had met a while ago. After learning all this, Jeon went straight to Young-suk. He thought that out of the 3, Young-suk would be the weakest because he looked thin and fragile. Jeon challenged Young-suk to a fight, but Young-suk refused because fighting would break the school rules. At that moment, Young-suk's friends arrived and started teasing Jeon by trying to pull off his clothes. Jeon tried his best to defend himself, but he couldn't resist them for long. The boys were surprised to find out that, despite being so grown up, Jeon was still wearing childish underwear. Because of this, they all mocked him and started calling him Hello Kitty to make fun of him. After going through all of this, Jeon made up his mind to become even stronger and defeat the most powerful student in the school. Young-suk was watching everything carefully. He realized that Jeon was not someone who would give up so easily. Then he informed Jeon that if he wanted to challenge the top 3 fighters, he first had to win 5 consecutive battles. Only after that could he face those 3 students. Young-suk took Jeon to watch Chang-suk's fight. Jeon observed that Chang-suk fought very calmly, but his fighting skills were extremely dangerous. After witnessing Chang-suk's battle, Jeon became even more eager to fight. That's why he decided to join the fighting club. In his very first fight, he won easily, proving to everyone that he was not as weak as they had assumed. After winning a few more fights, Jeon started gaining respect in the school, and people even began placing bets on him. Meanwhile, a teacher was introduced who had a deep interest in betting on student fights. However, he was constantly losing money because Jeon was winning all his matches one after another. That's why the teacher decided to come up with a strategy to stop Jeon. On the other hand, Jeon discovered that his next opponent was Gita, one of the top 3 fighters in the school. Originally, Jeon was supposed to face Gita in round 3, but the teacher changed the match schedule to prevent him from advancing further. Young Suk advised Jeon not to fight Gita just yet because he was truly powerful. However, Jeon ignored Young Suk's advice and prepared to face Gita. At first, Jeon struggled a lot because Gita was incredibly strong and easily knocked him to the ground. But then Jeon removed his shirt, allowing him to move faster. Now, even Gita found it difficult to grab him, making it harder for him to land proper attacks. Seizing this opportunity, Jeon used all his strength to defeat Gita. Finally, with a powerful strike, he managed to defeat him. With this victory, Jeon had successfully beaten one of the 3 strongest fighters in the school. The crowd erupted in cheers, celebrating his win. Even his classmates had now started respecting him. At that moment, another dangerous fighter, Sun Kam, entered Jeon's classroom and challenged him to a fight. Without hesitation, Jeon accepted the challenge. However, it soon became clear that Sun Kam was far stronger than expected. He endured all of Jeon's attacks and stood back up every time. As Jeon began to tire, Sun Kam finally launched his attacks. That's when it became clear that his actual plan was to take hits first, exhaust Jeon, and then unleash a powerful counterattack. At that exact moment, Sun Kam's favorite toy suddenly went missing, which distracted him. Jeon seized this opportunity and immediately launched a powerful attack on Sun Kam, defeating him. Right after this match, another boy unexpectedly appeared. The moment he stepped inside, the entire place fell completely silent. His name was Daeho. In reality, he was the most dominant student in the school. Everyone was astonished because Daeho had been absent from school for a long time. Many people assumed that he had suffered severe injuries in a previous fight, which prevented him from attending school. However, now that Daeho had returned, it was evident that he was perfectly fine. Chang Suk warned Daeho not to interfere in someone else's fight, as it was against the rules. However, Daeho ignored him completely because he intended to break all the rules and prove himself as the most formidable student in the school. Soon, everyone realized that a battle was about to take place between Chang Suk and Daeho, which would determine who would become the next leader of the school. Jeon and the rest of the students gathered to witness the fight. As expected, Daeho emerged victorious with little effort. Jeon was left in shock upon seeing that Daeho was even stronger than Chang Suk. After this, all of Chang Suk's allies switched sides and joined Daeho. Daeho then went on to defeat Sun Kam and Gita as well, further proving that he was the most superior fighter. Now, many students began aligning themselves with him. Even Young Suk eventually sided with Daeho. One day, Young Suk discovered that Daeho was planning to fight Jeon. This was extremely dangerous for Jeon. Despite everything, Young Suk still considered Jeon his friend, which is why he informed him about Daeho's intentions and advised him to leave the school before anything happened. However, Daeho overheard their conversation. Young Suk and Jeon quickly hid, but it was too late. Daeho had already realized that Young Suk had betrayed him. That is why he, along with his companions, begins searching for Young Suk to beat him up. Meanwhile, Jeon finds out that Daeho has severely injured Young Suk. He immediately rushes to see him. Upon reaching there, he witnesses that Young Suk has been brutally beaten. This sight fills Jeon with rage as he realizes that Young Suk had to endure so much pain because of him. Right then, Daeho challenges Jeon to a fight. After this, Jeon returns home and finds his sister sitting angrily. It is then revealed that Jeon and his sister are completely alone in this world, as their parents had passed away during their childhood. After sharing emotional words with his sister, Jeon gains the determination to defeat Daeho. Now he was fully prepared to fight Daeho and avenge Young Suk. Jeon then approaches Daeho and accepts his challenge. However, he learns that before facing Daeho, he must first confront his companions. Jeon bravely fights them all on his own. However, since they were large in number, he struggles to hold his ground for long. Just then, Chang Suk arrives, accompanied by Gita and Sun Kam. In reality, they had come to support Jeon. Now, the three of them start battling Daeho's allies, while Jeon and Daeho begin their fight elsewhere. Their battle turns out to be extremely intense. Both of them unleash powerful attacks on each other. However, in the end, Jeon emerges victorious. Now Jeon becomes the new leader of the school. He had the authority to establish new rules and modify any existing ones. Jeon then grants students permission to participate in underground fights, which had previously been banned by Dae-ho. At the end of the movie we see Jeon preparing to fight Chang-suk. However, the outcome of their battle remains unknown. Friends, if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. See you in the next video.